All right, people, Catfish Dave here. It is about 10 after 9. It is supposed to be coming into the hottest weekend of the year here in late August. Either way, we're going to bite off a section of Watts Bar Reservoir today. I do not like fishing Fort Loudon when they're not running no water, and they're not running much water. This lake is on the drop. Right now, they're currently running more out of the lower end, which could affect this lower end of the lake some, at least give it some flow. The lake is on the drop though, pretty good, which I don't like to fish that either. There's a fish on the screen right there. Seeing even a ball of bait down there deep. Either way, we're gonna bait up with some fresh bait here and run a section down in the 10-mile area of Watts Bar, skipjack. Yes, sir. Starting out at 61 feet here, dragging baits right slap down the channel. We're going to be right out in the heart of the river channel. Should be full-blown post-spawn by now, and these fish should be just scattered everywhere, deep, looking for food. And we're going to give them some food. I got a combination of a skipjack, some white bass. They'll hit one or the other. Don't have a lot of bait. I fished all night. Well, I fished last night up until dark for 2 skipjack and a couple white bass. Bait's been tough this year. That's a spread 'em planer board by Wesley Mann I just threw on there. And there we go. These are dragon rigs. 3-way swivel. Straighten that out. That is a dragging weight. There we go. Some leader. These are Dragon Master EVA floats. These hooks are from Chasing Outdoors. These weights are from Chasing Outdoors. The rods are from Chasing Outdoors. Chasing Catch rods. Combination of graphite rods, and these ones with the yellow wraps are fiberglass. So, got some Shimano Dakota reels. People want to know all this stuff. We're going to tell them. I got the boat running 0.5, don't see much flow. I'm gonna speed it up to get everything out. Speed it up to 0.7 here. Chunks of fresh cut bait. Caught last night. Speaking of last night, I did not sleep, not even an hour or so. My words there they go right there. My words may get a little mumbo jumboed. There's a fish on the bottom. It's a good sign. This is deeper channel I'm starting in, and I was going to go through some 40-foot water as well. I've already seen 2 marks on the screen just since I've been baiting up. These fish are not schooled up. They're just out here kind of everywhere this time of year, which is why this type of fishing works well. Big wide reservoir like this, you just scatter them baits out, cover some ground, you'll run across them. And even though the flow is not in our favor, especially with them dropping water, we are at a morning bite, so it's going to be either a morning bite or a night bite this time of year. Last time I fished this, it was just a bunch of small fish. Now that was well over a month ago. Still in the spawn pretty good. And the smaller fish hit the yellow bass and white bass. The bigger fish actually hit skipjack, so we'll see what it's like this time around. We'll go ahead and lock the green board down. Get my boat turned a little more. There's another fish on the grab. There's fish out here. Just because you see them don't mean they will eat, but we're hoping they will. I don't need to let a bunch of extra line out because if anything, this will get slightly shallower as we go. It should. And we're just going straight up the channel back towards the ramp I launched out of. Lock that on there. Get all 5 out. I've actually been experimenting with spinner blades. I've got some spinner blades on a couple of these. See there. Of course, they're going to work best in current or pulling at a higher speed. You know what I mean? So we should be pulling fast enough to get them to operate at least a little bit. I can't tell they hinder the fish. I've used them on these dragon rigs, caught plenty of fish. I believe I caught a 68-pounder this year on a spinner blade rig. And I've even been doing some bumping below the dams with them on some of my bumping rigs. So you're just always experimenting doing this stuff. There we go. Get these out and we'll fish until we're too hot or we run out of bait. And as hot as it's going to be, I'd say that's going to be just a couple hours out here today. Unless that wind can really pick up and help me out here. So far it ain't doing much. Get that on there. Lock the orange one down. This used to be a bright yellow rod. It's faded almost white. One of those catch the fever Hellcat rods. It's very flexible compared to these chasing outdoor rods. It works. I just prefer my chasing outdoor rods. I heard something break the surface over there. It sounded like I got a pile of crap out here. Let me see if I can get around it, not hook it. Looks like, I don't know, kind of like debris from a storm. I'm gonna catch that. Don't let me catch that. No, don't let me catch it. I'm getting this out too much. Trying to get that, not to catch that debris there. Go around it. It's caught it right now. I think it just disappeared, so I hope it's not on my line. I do not see it no more. If it's sliding down my line, I'll have to pull all that in and re-throw it. Because that will hinder fish from wanting to bite it. It's basically just a big branch that was floating in the water, and it completely disappeared after that orange planer board hit it. So that's just great. It never resurfaced. Now after fooling with that here, I've got to try to get this green board. I let it out too much. I'm guessing that branch, it just followed my line on down. That's my luck. I tried to get it to not hit the only branch out there floating in this half-mile wide reservoir, and it catches my line. And it's gone all of a sudden, so. There's another fish on the graph. Plenty of life on the graph so far. we go, that's a little better. Get my map a little smaller here so we can see where we're going. I got one graph on the maps, keep me where I want to be, and one on the down scan so I can see fish that may or may not bite. We'll just have to see. First thing I'm going to do is break out. Left my wallet in the truck, not good. Left an iPhone in the truck, not good. Somebody peeps in the window. They like to break windows out at some of these ramps around here. I've had it done. I'm missing my fillet knife. It must have blew out somewhere. That ain't good. We'll have to buy another. Either way, let's, yeah, I don't see it nowheres. I'm gonna get some hydration out. Man, I did not bring a lot of hydration today. I got enough to get by. We'll get this Jersey Mike's sub in the cooler. Part of one anyhow. I might drink a little bit of this tea. Get some sugar in the blood. Ah, mighty good. Yeah, man, we lost our fillet knife. That was one of those cheaper ones. There it is. It must have blew back here. These cheaper ones, I can keep them. If I buy them old Bubba blades, they don't last no time. Somehow they all end up missing. And those are like buying a house, so. Here we go. We're just to keep on a-cruising. 56 foot of water here. No bites yet. Keep an eye on the time after we are all baited up and threw out. It's 9:21 by the time we're ready to go here. If we get a bite, it'll be up to about probably 11:30, and we'll probably just die after that. Once the heat of the day kicks in. I have not fished this section of river in a long time. I fished about a mile up here about a month ago, and it was, like I say, a bunch of small fish only. I believe I put that video on the Catfish or Cool channel. Is that a bite? There's a little dinky bite right there. It's a ding ding on the green board. When you're dragging like this, it's good to experiment with speeds. You'll find one day they'll hit good at one speed. And if you slow down or speed up, they might not hit as well. And so when you get out here, you just kind of experiment until you find out which speed works best. Right now we're cruising at 0.7, and we've had one little dinky bite in the first, I don't know, 5 minutes. I should have brought, was that a little dinky? It is a little dinky bite on the green board. So white bass has gotten dinky bites so far. That might have been a little dinky bite on the yellow rod right there, which is white bass also. So white bass has had little dinky bites on every rod. Skipjack, nothing yet. And I mean some little bitty bites. Those fish couldn't have weighed a quarter of a pound. Ah. I see an old fish floating in the channel out there. Probably an old drum. Gasper goo. All right, y'all. I'm gonna reach down. I ain't had no breakfast. I believe I got me an old bag of Doritos in here. I got bumping rods here. I almost went to Fort Loudon Dam first because maybe I don't have no Doritos. Well, if I don't have no Doritos, I'm gonna be upset. Man, I ain't got no Doritos. You gotta be kidding me. Well, all we got's that sandwich. Man, how do you lose a bag of Doritos? Still get, I mean, I got fish on my, there's a little bite on the skipjack right there, little dinky bite. It's a little bigger bite than what we had first. I've got a group of fish right in this area. Some smaller ones stacked up. I really don't have no Doritos, man. Man. I guess. Yeah, I've got a group of fish down here on the bottom. It's the right color to be catfish. We'll know here in a minute if rods start going down. I'll tell you what, since I can't find no Doritos, I'm gonna eat a piece of cheese. I like cheese. Oh, it is no current much in here, so that dead fish is floating kind of slow. In just a little bit, we'll either bump the speed up or bump it down. I have passed some fish. Maybe they don't think it's breakfast time yet. There's a bite, skipjack. So skipjack has, every rod's been hit at this point. Small fish. There we go. All right, there we go. We're going through that group of fish. That's the wrong size fish there. Those just bait your hook. You know, we don't have a lot of bait. Yeah, just bait my hooks there. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna bump up to 0.9 here. See if we can outrun the smaller ones. Get them from chewing my bait completely off the hook. We got bit at 0.7. No takedowns. They weren't big enough to take anything down. There is a lot of small catfish in this lake that you have to weed through to find a bigger one. We'll see what time it is here. 9:29. Every rod's been hit multiple times. We'll run this speed for a while. See what happens. And like I say, they are dropping the lake. They're pulling more out, about 2,000 more per hour than what they're putting in, and that can really cause them to be harder to catch. If I would see any kind of bait fish dance around out here, some white bass or some skipjack, I've got my rods, but I'm not seeing none of that. Pretty quiet out here so far. There's another branch. We've had a lot of these El Nino pop-up thunderstorms, and they've been putting out some pretty good wind. That's why we got fresh green branches floating down the river. Water temps reading 88 degrees, 88.5. It's pretty hot. Speaking of hot, I don't really think this makes you cool, but it'll keep the sun out of my eyes. There we go. I'm glad the sun is behind me. If you get out here in the mornings, it'll be behind you. If you get out here in the afternoons, it's going to be right in your face. Usually I fish the afternoons because I'm too lazy to get out of bed, but it's going to be so hot today. I don't think I would survive an afternoon. That's why I went with just 1 hour sleep and decided to come out. The river is slowly getting shallower. I think we're going to be in around 48 foot. We're in 54 now. Goes through here, rises up a little bit, then drops back down. There should be fish all around. It's that time of year. They're here if we can just get them to bite. Seems like the dinky bites slowed down at 0.9. I don't think we've had a bite at 0.9. Of course, we've only been pulling 0.9 for like 1 minute. But here for long, I'm going to bump it down to 0.5 and we'll try that. Find that magic speed that they want today. I would rather them bite at 0.9 because you get to cover a lot more water quicker. And you can have some really good days when they're biting at 0.9. If they're wanting a real slow speed, it can take you longer to come across the fish. I'm going to go ahead and drop down to 0.5 for a little bit. Slow starting out. Well, I mean, we got bit on every rod, but nothing landed. My boards are starting to close up because I reduced the speed so we don't have as much drag on them. I just want to see if I get bit real quick, slowing down. If not, we'll probably go back to 0.7. All right, 0.7 it is. I'm gonna look at my TVA app and see if they've shut any water down anywhere below us. They weren't running much above us, so let's check below us. It can't go through if they're not letting it out. Fort Lousy is running well. They bumped Fort Lousy up to 14 at 9 a.m. If I would have known that, I would have just went there. Let's see what they've done to Watts Bar. Watts Bar's running 24. I might have should have went to Watts Bar Dam. There's a bite. You gonna hold it? You gonna eat it? You. And we may go to Watts Bar Dam if they keep running that. May go spend an hour over there bumping below the dam. Another, I don't know, 20-minute drive down the road. If I knew what they were running, I would have just went to Watts Bar Dam, or knew they was going to turn Fort Loudon Dam on. I would have went there, But they're not telling me that today. They're not telling me till after they've done it. And if I go all the way to Watts Bar Dam and they shut a gate off as soon as I get there, that'll kill the bite. Oh, bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump, bump. Hit 0.7 and we started getting bump, bump, bump. Little old dinky catfish out here in the channel. There we go. That one's stuck. White bass. Hopefully my white bass stays on the hook. It's coming in easy. Hit hard, coming in easy. Trying to keep him out of that yellow rod. There he is, old Watts Bar dinky fish. Got the bait stuffed in his mouth there. We're gonna get that back, but I gotta get the pliers in there and pull it out. Slime my line all the way up to here. That fish is warm. That's average size in Watts Bar Reservoir. You gonna eat that skipjack? There's a white bass. I'm rehooking this one. He knocked that loose over there. We'll probably have to pull that in now. Redeploy it. These old small fish will aggravate you like that. A big one would have just drilled it. He's still playing with it. So he hooked up. And that's good, since I'm gonna have to re-put my board out. 0.7. There's the yellow rod getting hit, unless that's that fish that hit it. He's going right for it. That's why I don't like to run that back rod, but yeah, he's hitting it. Get out of it, man. He's in it. He's at the top there. Which way you gonna swim? So I can keep you out of my line. He's just gonna go in it. He's right over the middle of it. Get out of that line there. Another one. Doing his best to shake my bait off there. Same size. That's the average size in Watts Bar. Come on. No net needed for these. Yellow rod's getting hit. Swimming. Look at it. I'm gonna have to reel down on him. He's on. He's on. So I'm gonna put the board on this, try and swing it away from that fish. White bass has caught 3. Skipjack's just been bit. Getting bit right there on skipjack. Let's get this one in. Try to keep him out of my other line here. I'm gonna go ahead and swing this now. Try to get it out of that fish. He's going right for it. Going to the right. It's like they see it. Skipjack getting bit out there. There goes my bait. Yep. We're hooked up there. He shook my bait off, man. Get that one in. I'm gonna let this out some. We'll try to swing it away from this fish. Man, you got my bait off there, dude. Try to swing that out. Time to clear this fish from this other line here. And see how he's swimming over towards it? Just like this one swam over towards it. Trying to force them along here. Sometimes I'll pull them towards the line to see if that'll make them swim the other way, but they don't. He's got to be in it now. Yeah, I seen it there. He's got it. We might as well stop the boat here. untangle everything. And pull that board loose. What a mess. And it's why this fish is so hard to pull in, because I'm pulling other line. I'm gonna go ahead and just stop the boat here, because we've only got one bait left in the water. This is a better fish than any of them. Did he come out of that? He may have just came. No, he didn't come out of it. Yeah, this is the best fish. We'll go ahead and land him. And then redeploy everything. Come on. No, don't spin up in it worse. Best one. Skipjack head got the best one. Come on. Just got me all bloody and I still ain't got him in the camera. There you go. That rag will get you. All right, y'all. I don't know why they got to skin you up like that, but they do. We have got a bit of a mess here. Hopefully I ain't got to cut no lines. We'll pull the board first. Let's see here. There's days you can go weeks and never tangle up a line. And there's days you'll get out here and every fish you hook will cross another line. Pretty much beat that skipjack head up, we'll rehook the other nostril. And I'll get the boat moving again before the wind turns us around. We'll throw a couple lines and then I'll land that back fish. We'll get some bait in the water. Takes a minute to turn it around. Trolling motor's got to make up its mind here. All right. Come on in here. And I don't know, that orange board, it may have been baited because that's a skipjack chunk. And it's had little bites. It may not have a bait on it. That's what I don't like about a skipjack chunk. The bait will not stay. It don't last long at all. There we go. We'll get a few lines out here. Let's start fresh. I'm sure that fish over there would like to get off the hook sometime. Maybe he'll be good and calm down by the time we get him in here. It's getting hot, y'all. I'm gonna have to put a fan on that camera so it don't die. We got that out. There we go. We'll get this out. I think every rod's caught a fish but that skipjack chunk. Fishing deep takes a while to get down. I believe we're down. There we go. I'll let that a little wider. This channel is wide. Okay. 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 Let that green one out a little wider. Yeah, we don't get bit on that orange board. We'll have to be checking it because it's been bit multiple times. And skipjack chunks do not put up with a lot of abuse. We'll officially have 4 baits back out. Go ahead and get this one in here. Old Watts bar size. We've caught one decent fish. The rest of them are just mediocre, average Watts bar fish. He don't look like he's hooked that good, but I'm gonna pull him. If he comes off, he does. He didn't come off. I thought you would have settled down after all that time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's loose. You'll open it. Oh, Watts Bar Dinky catfish. Eating size catfish. Lots of eating size fish in this lake. In East Tennessee, you can go down to Nickajack and have a shot at a few big fish, but you don't catch a lot of fish. Then you can go to Nickajack or Chickamauga, and you got a better shot at numbers of fish with the possibility of a big fish. You get into this lake, and you're for sure gonna catch dink catfish. Shots of a 30-pounder go way, way down. And then when you get in Fort Loudon, that lake just ain't no good for nothing. It ain't good for big fish. It ain't good for numbers of fish. Yeah, you've got to fish that lake 20 times to get a 30-pounder. So it is what it is. Getting a little breeze, and I'm happy for that. Yeah, if you're going on a East Tennessee fishing trip and you just got some kids with you and you want rods to get bent, this would be your lake to go to. And don't get me wrong, if you fish this lake all the time, you'll eventually get a better fish. It's just not near as likely to happen in one trip. My biggest fish out of this lake is 62 pounds. I fish it very frequently, and I've caught bigger fish in Fort Loudon than here. I've caught bigger fish in Chickamauga than here. I've caught bigger fish than in Nickajack than here. And this is the lake that probably 90% of my videos are on. So if that tells you anything. I can go to James River one time and catch a 60-pounder. But yeah, all these lakes are, I don't know, I call them predictable. I know what to expect when I go. If I would have drove down to Chickamauga or Nickajack, we would have had about an hour to fish. And there's not a really good afternoon bite going on right now. So we ended up here. Yeah, when we came into them, we came into them. And we've been in fish. That was just the first ones we got, the two that were big enough to actually eat the bait and get hooked. We went through a ton of small fish, like that one biting on that green board right there. Peck, peck, peck. Bang, bang, bang. check my speed, make sure I reset up, go on the right speed. We did. Yeah, there is fish on my graph this whole way out here. I'm looking at 3 right now. It's just getting them to eat. I've got 5 rods out, but technically we're fishing 4 of them because I don't think this one's got any bait. Let's see what time it is, y'all. In total, getting set up and all, untangling lines, not having baits in the water, we've been out here an hour and got 4 fish in the boat. In the heat of August, I guess that's not bad. Here comes the jet skis. There we go on the head. That's a better fish right there. Skipjack head is getting the better ones. Everything else is attracting dinks. I'm gonna try to let this over again, see if he'll come out of it so we don't have to tangle it again. I'll just keep pressure on this, let that swing over. Yeah, these skipjack heads are hard to come up with in East Tennessee. I caught 2 yesterday. I caught 1 in the morning and I went out again in the evening and I caught 1, and that's how we got our 2 skipjack. They're just about gone in the eastern portion of, or actually in the whole in Tennessee River. And I like to use them because here we are, skipjack heads are getting the better fish of the day here. This one might actually stay out of that line right there. The skipjack chunk getting bit. Just old dinker, so we know it's got bait. At least for now. There he goes into that yellow rod. Yeah. We might have actually cleared all these lines here. Let me get him under the boat. He's staying back. Oh. We're getting hit right there on that white bass. And he dropped it. This one's taken the longest to come in so far. Come on, bud. I'm surprised I don't see him yet, but he's not coming under the boat like they usually do. He's kind of staying back, staying around the motor. Mm-hmm. There we go. He's acting like the biggest of the day. He is. That's a decent fish right there. That's got to be close to that's a decent fish. If he stays on, doing all that twisting. All right. Come on. He's in there. Okay. That's good. I'm going to pop a picture of this one just for the social media. That's the wrong case there, Dave. We'll keep that fish cool and wet while we are setting up the other camera here. We're bit on that back rod. He pulled down and let back up. Trying to wipe this lens off, and I've got sweat all over my shirt. And he let go with the back one. Pulled it down real slow. Now we'll get this one in. Yep, this is a better one for this lake. Yeah, we're hitting the 30-pound mark there. Skipjack head. I got this crimp on here, and I'm trying to pull that crimp sleeve back through that skipjack nostril and not put the hook in my hand. Oh, come on! That's my skipjack rods. Yeah. That's my skipjack rod. I'll give this a toss real quick. And we'll put that fish in the camera. Let him simmer down a minute. Now that catfish right there, that's about the average size of fish I catch over in Cherokee Lake when I fish over there. And here, you gotta weed through a lot of small fish to find one like that. There we go. Get our prize skipjack head back out, because it's the only sign of a big fish catching bait right now. Two best ones came on the head, so we'll pop a quick picture of old dude here. I guess we won't. The camera's out of battery, so we'll just hold him up and chunk him. Yeah. Now don't get all bent up. Ouch. They got a bite, man. Keep the tail all crooked so they don't look good. But yeah, that's a better one in this lake. There she goes. Now, if I'd been on Nickajack or Chickamauga, I wouldn't even try to take a picture of that fish, but here, that's a good one. Go ahead and charge this other camera up. just in case we do catch a real one. There we go. Yeah, those skipjack rods, they get beat all up when you got them in the boat here. I turned around and got dizzy. I turned and everything kept turning after I stopped. That's from an hour's sleep. My guess is the skipjack chunk ain't doing so well out there. We do have one more skipjack head in the cooler, and if I rebait that, I'll probably put a head on. Because the skipjack chunk has not caught the first fish. White bass chunks, white bass heads, skipjack heads, but the skipjack chunk has not caught fish number one. So what's that telling you? All right, let's see how long it took to catch that one after we set back up. It took 10 minutes. .7 seems to be the speed to run. At 0.9, 0.5, we weren't having much fun. 0.7 so far is getting it done. And that's what you do out here. Experiment, find out what they want that day, because it's different every day. There's getting a tap on the skipjack head. Dink taps. Yeah, I'm marking plenty of bottom fish. There's a big cloud of bait up here about 20 foot below the surface. Everything's out here in the middle of the river, so it's post-spawn, without a doubt. It's time for me to drink another water so I don't pass out. Passing out ain't good for you. Oop, that yellow rod got nailed again. It likes to get nailed when I'm not by it. Yeah, boy. Skipjack chunk, did you just get bit? My hand smells like fish. Yeah, boy. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah, I like to dive yesterday. I fished. Got a bad headache. Once it hit noon, man, I started getting dizzy out here. And it's supposed to get hotter and yet even hotter again by this weekend, which is tomorrow. They say this weekend is going to be the hottest of the year. And, well, today is going to be close to that hot, so. Very humid, man. Got the El Nino or whatever they call it, blah, 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 bringing up all the Gulf moisture. Pop-up storms every day. Super high humidity. It feels like Louisiana right now in East Tennessee, so. We're passing lots of fish, but only certain ones will eat. And here again, they are dropping the lake. That makes it tough. We would have come out here with good flow, steady water levels, or more inflow than outflow. We might have seen a superior bite today. Unfortunately, TVA, the schedules of when they run these dams and not, doesn't seem to tie in with mine. Old dinky bite on the green board. There's another dinky bite on the green board. It seems like the smaller fish are craving the white bass today. Larger ones want skipjack heads only. Nothing wants a skipjack chunk. Today the skipjack chunk is junk. We're gonna have to set the hook on that old fish, I believe. We sure are. Boy, he's making a beeline for me. Or he come off. I wonder which one it is. He might have come off. Let's see, he may have come off. There goes the yellow board. Got small ones just to wearing this white bass out. No, he's still on there. He's still on there. He's just running real fast, or I never could feel him. He's a little dinky thing. That is the smallest fish of the day. So small it was hard to tell if he was on. Let the orange board out. Now that's a true frying pan sized catfish right there. If you're into that sort of thing. There it is. I don't eat them. I just come out here and sword lip them. Yeah, little dinky do right there. It's action. If you're out on this lake to make a video, you'll get content. You'll get some action. Same way with bringing your pontoon down and throwing 20 rods out all four sides, loading up the kids, having you a fish fry. Look at there, we're on that. We got one on that skipjack head for a second. It doesn't seem to be as potent for the bigger fish after it's been on the hook a while. And it has been on the hook a while. over an hour. Caught a couple, caught the 2 biggest fish of the trip. It's been a good skipjack head. I'm glad I caught that skipjack. It was worth it just for the head. There we go. Yeah, this is just a great way to get fish in the boat post-spawn. They come off the nest and they just scatter out. They usually head deep out in these channels. And I mean, literally, there's fish, there's a fish. There's hardly ever a time I don't see a fish on the graph. Well, I guess he stuck, didn't he? I'm gonna drink some water. If he's stuck, we'll pull him in. Skipjack chunk, are you gonna do it? He's holding it. He's holding it. He's holding it. If I would have set that, we might have actually caught one on a skipjack chunk. He's just holding that bait. We do have one on that yellow rod. I'm gonna have to pull him in once I hydrate. I'll reel down on him real quick. Look there, skipjack chunk. Just hooked up. Looky there. Let me get this back one in because the skipjack chunk fish feels bigger. And I don't want him swimming into this line back here with old Dinky on. Either this fish is just not in the mood to fight, or he's a bigger fish. He bit really, really slow. I mean slow. Just sluggish. He wasn't that interested in the chunk, or he wouldn't have been so sluggish about it. Reeling them in 2 at a time. Yeah, it's a better fish. It's better than some of them we've caught. I'm gonna put this rod in the prone position. We're gonna bring this one to the surface. And I'll ease this one in here. There he is. I see him back there coming up. The Dinky one is. We'll get him right there. And then we'll get this little bit better one in here. I don't know how much better, but he's better. Stay on the other board. You can do it. I'm glad to see one on that skipjack chunk. Yeah, we had a lot of line out on this one. There he is. He's definitely better, but he ain't big at all. He was just a lazy fish. Extremely lazy. That's why he hit so sluggish. And he fought sluggish. We'll get him in. He's just big enough for the net. Oh! Well, we'll put another chunk on since it did catch something. Come on. I'd like to see what we would catch if we had enough skipjack to pull skipjack heads on every rod, but when you catch 2 skipjack in 2 attempts, we can't do that. So This is the better of the two. Oh, no, don't get crazy. That was a very lazy fish. Super lazy. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave that dink back there in the water. He stole my bait anyway. So we're gonna punish him, leave him on the hook a little while. And I am going to grab another skipjack chunk. Yeah, the last time I was out on this portion of the lake, I pulled skipjack, yellow bass, white bass. The bigger fish hit the skipjack. Now, when I fished the upper end of the lake, the same week, it was the total opposite. On the upper end, the bigger fish keyed on the white bass and yellow bass. And I'm thinking that's because it was in the spring, and that is when you're, whoa, I'm dizzy. Yellow bass and white bass had all run up river for the spawn, so that could be why that was. Now later on this winter, when everything repopulates the whole lake again, white bass may become a really good bait down here. Either way, fresh chunk out. I need to turn the boat to the left a little bit. I'm just staying dead center of the channel. And there's really no reason to do anything else. I'm passing fish the whole way on the graph. Speaking of fish, green boards get pulled on there. I may put a skipjack chunk on that back rod maybe. Or maybe not. We might just keep what we got. Because the skipjack are harder to catch than the white bass and yellow bass right now. Been that way for 2 years, and this year is the worst I've seen with it. I had to go to Nashville just to find a decent population of skipjack. Old Dinky. I caught more skipjack over there in 30 minutes than I've caught here all year, and it's August, so. If that tells you anything about our skipjack population. And it is like that from Fort Loudon to Watts Bar to Chickamauga to Nickajack to Gunnersville to Wheeler. There, in this section of Tennessee River, there is just far less skipjack in the water. Overpressured commercial fishing has took them out. Bait shops, all these bait dealers. You got your local bait dealers. It's basically get a check or something. Don't have to work. They just kind of fish around and take what they catch to the bait shop. And then you've got the commercial guys that are actually throwing nets across this river. Illegal size gill nets to catch the skipjack. And we just don't have enough DNR here to do anything about it. Or they probably, they act like they don't really care, because we have addressed this situation as it's been coming on for the past several years. Now here we are. So yeah, I had to drive to Nashville just to catch some decent skipjack. But if I'm diligent and I want to be below Fort Loudon Dam right at sunup, I can probably catch one. And if I drive back down right at sundown, I can probably catch another one. That's what I done yesterday, which is how we got the two we got. I'll just tell it like it is. Pure leaf, real brewed tea with a splash of lemon. There we go, man. There's another ball of bait and about 20 foot thread fins. That's most of the bait left in these lakes are thread fins. The gizzard shad are next on the list of the hit list because as the skipjack numbers got down, those bait dealers still had to make the rent and vehicle payments and all that. So now it's on to live scopes, chasing all the gizzard shad down we got. And those little tiny threadfin right there, they're just too small to catch in a net and not big enough to use on a hook. The catfish can still eat them. They'll swim through them and just suck up 30 in a mouthful. But as far as a quality catfish bait, nah. We keep pressing on. We do what we got to do. We get some kind of bait. We come out here. This is catfishing in East Tennessee in 2026. Yay! Did you stick? I believe he may have stuck. He did. Old striped fish is catching the smaller ones. Have not seen a real fish on the striped fish, and we're pulling striped fish with 3 rods. So here again, if I could go out around here and catch 20 skipjacks, and I knew the bigger ones were hitting heads this day, we could have 5 rods pulling skipjack heads. We might catch a big catfish. Very possible. This could be the smallest of the day. He's real close to competition with that other one we got. I don't know. He's close to the smallest. Yeah. I don't even think that's big enough for the frying pan there. No. By the time you take the head off and some skin, there ain't much left. Skipjack chunk getting a little nip there. There we go. They about meated this thing, man. It's just hanging on by the skin. I may hook it through the belly. It's still hanging on though, but I would like the hook to be farther into it for hook set purposes, so we're gonna hook it through the belly. We'll get another fish out of it. Only caught 2, so gotta make it last. And here again, even the white bass have gotten tougher because all the catfish guys around here are keeping more of them for bait since we can't get skipjack. So you're seeing fewer white bass, and some of the ones we're catching are just almost too big for bait. We've done cleaned out the good bait size ones. Yeah, the state of Alabama actually stepped up and put laws against selling their skipjack. And when that happened, we already had pressure here from out-of-state people, local guys, but then all the guys that were targeting the Alabama portion of Tennessee River, they came here because Tennessee don't care and still sells the licenses to get them. And that's just fish in East Tennessee in 2026. Still some catfish to be caught if you can get the bait. See what time we got here. I'm gonna check the dams, see if they pumped them up or bumped them down, what they've done. All right. There we go. Another dinky tap there on the old stripey fish. Skipjack head got a little dink tap. And he pretty much stuck, I believe. No. Going through a section with some real small ones now. Get my boat straightened out here a little bit. The channel depth is remaining fairly consistent. We've caught most of our fish in 52 feet. Started out in 60 and wasn't getting much action to begin with. And they probably just weren't ready to start biting yet, because I marked them even in that 60, so. I think we've experienced somewhat of a morning bite here, and it's possibly even slowing down by now. It appears to be, but you know, that could change here. We could get surprised, but I'm feeling that general indication of a slowdown. As the heat creeps on, one thing about it, if I do catch a big fish, I'll have my camera battery charged this time. Skipjack head. Third one on the same skipjack head. Yeah. Let me let that out. He doesn't feel very big because I'm getting a lot of that, what you call tail kicking. When you feel the tail kicking, it usually ain't that much. Go ahead and swing that out. For some reason, my lines are facing that way. Oh, I see the wind is blowing sideways. So my boat's a little crooked according to the course we're on. But yeah, here's another one. If you wanted to bring little Jimmy and Ricky on down here in the pontoon boat and set up at the campground, y'all could have you a fish fry here. Now, I'll just tell you why I encourage fish fries in this lake. You know, see how many dink catfish are in this lake? By experience, fishing the basically entire Tennessee River system, the lakes where they commercially fish for food fish, for smaller fish, when you have less smaller fish in the lakes, that's the lakes where you catch fewer fish, but you catch those jumbo size fish. Gunnersville, Wilson, all them, they've been food fished for years. Nickajack, food fished. Chickamauga, food fished. And you can still find big fish in those lakes, but you don't get all these this size during an outing. I probably haven't caught 2 catfish that size in Nickajack out of all the times I fished it. You catch one there, it's going to average 30 pounds. So, Now where the problem comes in is these commercial guys, pay lakes. They came down here and targeted the big fish. They don't even want these little fish. So we already have an abundance of little fish, which is just too much competition for a big fish to even want to grow here. And then the commercial pay lake guys come down here and robbed what big fish we had. And then you're left with this in 2026. Like I say, it's good for little Jimmy and Ricky in the pontoon boat. But your odds of catching a 100-pounder go way down in East Tennessee in 2026. It's still possible in nickajack. Possible, although I haven't seen one in several years. It's possible there. Probably still possible in nickajack. Chickamauga, nickajack. My words are all screwed up. I think I already said nickajack. It's what happens when you don't sleep an hour. But yeah. And say that's why Gunnersville was good for years until the pay lake guys went down there. The food guys kept this size cleaned out, and you went down there and caught 70 and 80 pounders. So, like I say, it's still good for little Jimmy and Ricky, but you'll have to catch 200 of these to see a 30 pounder. Well, all right, y'all. This skipjack head's still on there. It's losing its potency, I can tell, as it's getting old and less flavor, all beat up looking. And I believe the bite in general is slowing down as it gets hotter, but we're still catching some fish. We'll press on a little longer. See what we can pull out of here. I'm just gonna let him thrash around a minute. See, that old striped fish is still on the hook. It's got that tough skin. The striped fish is not as good of a bait sitting still as the skipjack or shad, although you can still catch fish sitting still. It tends to be a good dragging bait, a good bumping bait. When you're moving like this, you tend to create a reaction strike. But you can see that these fish will prefer one select thing over all these other baits. They are picky enough to do that. That's why the two biggest fish came on a skipjack head. The only head we've got out there. Because we only had 2 skipjack because I live in East Tennessee. Get in here, old dink. I'll throw this bait back out. Ooh, skipjack chunk. Getting tapped on right there. These hooks are in them today. Yeah, another little dinky. Talking to us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to tear that chunk off there, are you? Yeah, I put out a video of nickajack, I don't know, a couple videos ago, and I say the average fish was 25, 30 pounds. And that's because these little ones get cold out of there all the time. Allowing more habitat, less pressure for the big fish to grow. For a big fish to grow, you need lots of bait in the water, and you don't want to be overpopulated. You know, these trophy bass lakes, crappie lakes, bluegill lakes, they sit there and shock fish, and they cull out a certain size limit of fish to produce those trophy fish. Keep the runts out, get all the bad genetics out. I believe we're stuck on that yellow rod. I believe he stuck himself. Either that or he's just persistent. Skipjack head, I believe, just got hit there. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I caught a 68 this year, not in this lake. The lake I fished the most times, caught it down in Chickamauga. Got a 68 the year before that, not in this lake. The lake I fished the most, I got it down in Nickajack. Got a 72 the year before that, not in this lake. The lake that I fished the most, I got it down in Chickamauga, you know. My biggest on video is 82. It did not come out of this lake, the lake I fished the most, or Fort Loudon. It came out of Nickajack. You know, I've been to Gunnersville maybe 4 times, and I hit a 70-pound catfish. And I've been fishing this lake right here for probably 10 years and never caught a 70-pound catfish. So what does that tell you? Is that all luck? I've been to the James River 4 times and I've got up to 60 pounds, lots of 40 to 50-pound class fish. And I've only been down there 4 times. I fished this lake 400 times. And I've seen one, my biggest here is 62 in this lake. So yeah, that's not luck. That's not coincidence. None over a span of that many years. That's the reality of fishing Watts Bar Reservoir. You know, anybody can have a lucky trip or a bad trip, but you start talking 400 trips, yeah. But yet I can go to these other lakes and catch a fish that size? No, that's not a coincidence. Getting dink taps on most of the rods here. We'll check the temperature real quick. It's 11 o'clock. We've actually been fishing about an hour and a half, and then the rest was setup time, untangling line time. Yeah, I'm gonna check the gates again. He's pulling at it. Yeah, the skipjack chunk is definitely the worst bait to have out. It's getting the least amount of attention, I believe. Oh, look at him. We've got to pull him in now. I was texting the girl, and this fish interrupted me. Yeah, we're just cruising along. Yeah, green board getting hit. You're gonna make me get him. Yep. I believe he's stuck. He may. Did he stick? If he did, he's running to the boat. I can't tell. I'll just let off it and see if the rod bobs up and down. He may have been too small and didn't stick. Either way, he broke the board loose, so I had to pull on it some. Yeah, there's another one of those in this lake. That's the ones that Jimmy and Ricky needs to have in a fish fry. Come get you some of these right here. Come on. He's mad at me because I'm letting little Jimmy and Ricky know where he lives at. Yeah. There we go. Skipjack chunk. I'm not gonna probably put another head on because those skipjack are hard to come up with, and I may go bumping below a dam, and I may want that because it could be a while before I catch another. So we'll put this one there. This will be the last of that one skipjack right here. And then I'm gonna have to figure out what we're gonna bait this rod with. I've got another white bass in there. Yeah, this is a good lake just to catch numbers, catfish. Good lake for a fish fry. Good lake for easy YouTube video content. A good lake to drag down the pontoon, the wife, and little Jimmy and Ricky. Stop by the Big Fish Outfitters there and buy some of that bait that the bait dealers dropped off. You can come out here and wear these things out. I believe that fish might have stuck because I seen the rod bob right there. If he is on there, he's small. No, he ain't on there. I did see it bob though. Could have been an old gar or something tapping on the bait while it was up closer towards the surface. Yeah. The white bass ain't popular on this side of the lake today as far as the better fish. And that happens. I should actually check out this one. This one been hit. I wonder if it's got a bait on it. Had a fish on it for a while. Yeah, you can definitely feel the slowing down out here as far as bigger bites, multiple rods going down at the same time. It's slowly coming out of that morning bite. Now, at the right time of year, steady water, not dropping water. You could be out here at 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and as long as they're running a lot of flow through those dams, and you could wear the fish out. Always check the TVA schedule, find out if a lake's dropping or on the fall. I knew this lake was on the fall, but there's so many fish in it. I know I'm gonna get something. And Chickamauga was too far to go today. Fort Loudon wasn't running enough water when I first went by it, so here we are. Watch Stinky Bar. Hey, that rhymes. Let's check these dams. I'll see if they've, because see, they've been running the Watts Bar Dam strong at night, shutting it off in the day. There we go. Let's check it. I just texted a girl. I'm just going to check this right here. Just for giggles, what's Fort Loudon doing? 7? Oh, they bumped up to 21. They turned it on at 10 a.m. The problem is it's getting so hot by that point. Now let's see if they cut Watts Bar back like they have been doing. That's why I was scared to go there. They've been cutting it off like at 9, 10 a.m. And they have. They went from 24 to 19. So if I would have went there, that would have greatly reduced the bite. By the time we would probably had about an hour of good fishing, and then that would have been it. So we made the right choice coming here, even though the water's falling. There's lots of fish here, and we're dragging 5 rods, so skipjack head got a tap. Yes, I do believe the time of day makes all the difference in the world on the size of fish you catch as well. There are certain times a year, a lot of times in the summer, that's the only way you can get those bigger ones is to fish at night. And people don't click on night videos. Night videos leave terrible thumbnails. So I'm not going to get many views, and then you're fighting the bugs, can't see nothing, tripping over stuff in the boat. You get home late, tired the next day. Can't get up early enough the next day to go catch bait or enjoy a morning trip. You know, so we just fished the daytime, watched the TVA schedules, and he popped off, old Dinky. Took my last skipjack chunk. Old Dinky do. And I'll tell you what, the striped fish that I'm pulling, it's been soaking out there a while because we're just catching multiple fish on it. So we've had it in the water close to 2 hours, and it could be losing some effectiveness, although that one just got hit. They love to pull those skipjack chunks off the hook. I'll tell you what, we may just go ahead and put one more skipjack chunk on here, maybe one towards the tail. I don't want to waste that head if I suspect the bite is dying off. We'll save it for another trip where we're fishing prime time. So let's cut maybe a tail section off here. There we go. This way. We got about 3 baits left to bump with or something. Somewhere. When we catch the, ooh, I got hit there. No. That's where I was letting that board out. Something did hit it though. While I was letting the board out, skipjack head getting hit. Going through a pile of, y'all, what did I do with that chunk, that tail piece? I'll have to re-watch the video to figure out what I've done with it. Huh. I don't see it. I just cut it. Did I put it in here? No? What? I lost the bait I just now cut up. How do you do that? I know. Less than an hour's sleep's how you do that. Did it fall in here? Did I subconsciously throw it out of the boat? What? I lost the bait I cut. Sure did. I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? I wonder if I subconsciously threw that thing out of the boat, because I don't see it. I can't wait to edit this video. Or actually, I'm not going to edit this video. So I'll have to watch to this point to see what I've done with that bait. Well, I'll be. Well, tell you what we'll do. Since we lost that, we'll cut a tail section of this white bass. Because our skipjack tail section has disappeared. Gone. No longer around. Nowhere to be found. There we go. Yeah, you gonna eat that? We caught a lot of fish on that same bait right there. Got it hooked in the belly. It's pretty much nothing but skin. I need to check that yellow rod because it got hit a long time ago. Ain't been hit since. Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know what happened to that skipjack junk. Craziness. Crazy. Yeah, they have cut off the gates at Watts Bar, so I won't be going there. And they finally turned them on at Fort Loudon, but it's just going to be too hot to fish. I'd say we don't have bait on here. Let's check it. We do. I'll be danged. This just hit a bad luck streak. Well, all right, y'all. I'm gonna probably chew something. Probably that Jersey Mike sub. That's why I got it. Breakfast for a guy with no sleep. Yeah. What'd I do? Turn my motor off there? No. We're still getting tapped on along the way here. Now, I will say I am starting to see less fish on the grab coming through here. Seeing a little dinky one right there, about the size of what's tapping on that green board. Still got lots of bait out here. There's some bait down there, deep, over 30 feet. And there's some bigger fish, 1, 2, 3, hanging just below that school of bait. So it's possible that those, and they're a color of a catfish, possible these catfish are starting to suspend into the schools of bait, which could be why I'm not seeing them on the bottom like I did. But there is one on the bottom there, so there's still some around. We'll pull a little longer. I'll chew on my sub. Contemplate my next move. If that skipjack piece did fall down in this boat, I'll find it sometime, not by sight, but by smell. Sir. Ah, that yellow rod. Oh, shoot. I didn't have it locked down, and so he's still tapping at it. There he goes. My boat's getting spun sideways in the wind because we don't have enough current to keep it straight. The wind is making it nice and cool, though. About as cool as an oven set on low out here. Yay! Don't make me put my sandwich down. When I get this sandwich chewed up, if nothing exciting happens, we may call it. Mm-hmm. I see you. Yay! Man, you grab this sandwich, you start getting all kind of bites. I didn't bring my chips, but or I lost them, like I did that chunk of skipjack. Mm-hmm. Yeah, skipjack ham. Yeah, I'm sensing it right here. I'm sensing this is the time. It's getting hot. The bites are dwindling. And yeah, what we had today is a kind of a narrow bite window due to the summer heat. Well, he might stick. And dropping water. Had they been running hard all day, steady water levels, we would catch fish out here from morning to night. When conditions are bad, it makes them not want to bite. Either way, this is fishing East Tennessee in 2026. There is a this is a video. There was fish in the video. That makes it a fishing video. This is Catfish Dave with another one. Signing out. I'm gonna go get some sleep, I guess. go. He hooked up. We're gonna have to reel that in too. Sure are. Yeah, I see you. We'll get you here in just a little bit. That bait looks like pure trash. Nothing but skin. Oh, that skin is tough. Ugh, I might have to cut that off with a fillet knife. There we go. I see you over there. I see you. That fish just didn't know I ended the video, I guess. Somebody didn't tell him. We'll go ahead and get him. It's what we'll do. Yeah. Yeah. Come on in here. Come on in here. I'm ready to go, man. I got a Jersey Mike's brownie in the truck. There he is, Watts Bar Special. There we go. Old Watts Bar Special. Little Jimmy and Ricky needs to come down here and get you.